Hello everyone, my name is Preston Dennett, and today I want to explain to you in 10 minutes or less why I think the healing of humanity is one of the main ET agendas. The reason I feel this way is because most major researchers have uncovered cases like these. Here are some of them, and I'm warning you, there are a lot. Dimity Beckley, he uncovered a case involving a journalist from New York who had cut his hand, had a close-up encounter, and just by being in the presence of a UFO, his wound was healed. Richard and Lee K. Boylan, they wrote a book together about some of their investigations. Dr. Boylan says that he uncovered a case involving a lady who was cured of an ovarian cyst. Joseph Burks, MD, he's been in this field for a while and has investigated a few healing cases. One of them involves a man from Florida who was cured of a torn cornea and was later cured of lung cancer. Another researcher is RT6 Keller Clark, who's written 3 books, probably more upcoming. She's uncovered several healing cases. One that comes to mind is a medicine woman, a Native American woman from the United States, who cut her ankle with an axe, was visited by ETs who cured her of her foot wound. This is Constance Clear. She's a researcher from the Midwest who wrote a book about her investigations. She uncovered a case of a gentleman from Texas who was cured of kidney stones. Gordon Creighton, he's a researcher from the UK, really the first person to ever write about UFO healings. He uncovered several cases. One of them involved a man who jumped from a train and broke his legs and was subsequently picked up by a UFO and cured. Another English researcher, Toni Dodd, very prominent researcher, he uncovered a case of a gentleman in England who was cured of stomach problems. Anne Druffel, she's been in this field for years and years, has uncovered a few healing cases. One involves a woman who was cured of breast cancer following a visit by ETs. Edith Fiore, PhD, she's actually the first person with a PhD to write a book about UFO abductions. She said fully half of the cases she investigated had healings. One involved 2 sisters who were healed of a yeast infection. Later, one of the sisters was healed of cancer. She's got a lot of other cases, like a gentleman who was cured of angioma, a malformation of the blood vessels of the brain. Timothy Good, a very prominent researcher from the UK, has uncovered several healing cases. He reported on one case of a lady from Puerto Rico who was cured of cancer. Bill Hamilton has been in this field for a very long time, has written a number of books. He researched a case involving a Southern California woman who was diagnosed with a cystic mass in her breast and was about to have it removed but had an encounter, went to go have surgery, and the cyst was gone. Before and after x-rays, the whole deal. Narrow Hernandez, he's exploded onto the field pretty recently, and after he reports on the case of the healing of his dog, Nina. So that was just one healing case. He co-founded the organization Free, which uncovered many, many healing cases. I mean, everything from headaches to hemorrhoids. Many other researchers. Cynthia Hind was certainly South Africa's leading researcher for many years. She uncovered a case involving a woman who was cured of jaundice during her encounter. Bud Hopkins, probably the leading abduction researcher for some time, he never wrote about any UFO healing cases, though I did corner him at a conference in San Diego, and he admitted that yes, he's got several of them in his files, and I believe that one of them would be Debbie Jordan from his book Intruders, who did reveal that she had a tumor that was cured. David Jacobs, he's had a number of books written on this subject. Has been researching it for many years. He's uncovered several healing cases. Probably one of the most impressive is about a young girl named Alice Haggerty who was cured of diphtheria. Barbara Lamb, another amazing researcher who's conducted hundreds upon hundreds of hypnotic regressions, has several healing cases. One of a lady who was struck by a beam of light and healed of back pain, another involving a gentleman who was cured of a hole in his heart, and many others. Jim and Coral Lorenzen, they're pioneers in this field for sure. Multiple books have uncovered a number of healing cases. One involves Sergeant Charles Moody, who during his abductions injured his back, and the ETs cured him of his back injury while on board the UFO using a cylindrical type device. John Mack MD, he's written a number of books, very prominent in the field. He uncovered several healing cases, one involving a man who was cured of polio, another involving a cure of pneumonia. Chris Rutkowski, he's a Canadian researcher and has, of course, uncovered healing cases, one involving a lady in Canada who was cured of kidney disease. Yvonne Smith is a very prominent researcher in Southern California, has uncovered healing cases, one involving a possible cure of AIDS, and certainly not the only case I know of involving AIDS. Brad Steiger has written dozens of books on this subject, has interviewed many people who have reported healings. One comes from a lady, a farmer, who gashed her hand on farm equipment and was taken on board a UFO and cured of her hand wound. Wendell Stephen has had a number of books written on this subject, has researched this subject for many years, has uncovered, of course, many healing cases, one involving a young boy who was cured of a supposedly fatal cerebral aneurysm. Leo Sprinkle is another pioneer in this field. In fact, he's the first to use hypnotic regression to recover memories from missing time. He uncovered a case involving a lady who was cured of sinusitis, another involving a gentleman who was cured of kidney stones and scars on his lungs from tuberculosis. Carla Turner, she wrote 2 books on this subject at least, and uncovered at least one healing case involving a person who was taken on board a UFO and observed a gentleman whose body was being opened and closed using a laser-like instrument, very much like we've seen on Star Trek. Jacmel, a very well-known researcher, highly regarded in this field. He, of course, reports on a well-known case involving a French doctor who was struck by a beam of light and cured of an axe wound on his foot and partial paralysis he had received from the Vietnam War. Certainly not the only case of multiple healings. I've uncovered many, many healings myself. A woman from Norway healed of back pain, a guy from North Carolina healed of a blood clot, a woman from the East Coast cured of glaucoma, a man from England cured of foot pain, a girl from Florida who was cured of leukemia, a lady from Georgia cured of fatal injuries from a car accident and later of a cyst, and other cases involving tumors, pneumonia, severe sunburn, and more. So my point is these cases are not as rare as you might think. I've documented 300 cases in my book, The Healing Power of UFOs. I'm guessing there are at least 100 times more than that. And that's why I think that one of the main ET agendas on our planet is the healing of humanity. For whatever reason, they seem to be very interested in us. Thanks for listening and keep having fun.